Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring your boy, Enel. Get ready for a very, very spicy deck profile featuring OP09 here on the channel, in which in today's video, we are going to do something a little bit different. We're going to dive into two different deck lists with Enel, and we're going to play a bunch of games, as we typically do here on the channel. With that being said, this is the list that we cooked up on the previous Enel video. This list went very, very aggressive with the 7-cost Enel with I Am God or I Am Kami, allowing you to get back multiple Enels from the trash or play Enel for 4 cost from your hand down for free, which is really, really strong. It's a very aggro, aggressive list that does very well into today's metagame. Don't get me wrong, you don't run into a lot of Enels. Let's be fair, because everybody and their brother is playing Blue Doflamingo, and that's about it. Now, everybody's local scene is going to be different. So we house anywhere between 40 to 50 people on Tuesdays and Sundays over here at Gaming Giant, which is a lot, right? That is a lot of people. We typically don't have any Blackbeard players. Maybe 1 or 2 at most. Not over exaggerating, I'm not overselling. That's a lot of people don't like playing Blackbeard. Not because he's not good. He's just a very, very boring deck to play. And it is what it is. People would rather play, Rob Lucci or Blue Doflamingo, anything else. So I don't really run into this deck all too much as Enel, which is great, right? Because he kind of turns off all of your abilities. Cool. So, with that being said, my local scene consists of a lot of Dofi players, okay? Which Enel does very well into. Our local scene may be different from yours, which does make sense, so be mindful of where you're playing and what cards you're utilizing to win your matchups. Particularly, this is a aggressive aggro list, so today we are going to dive into a control variation that does well into today's format, particularly into Doflamingo and other decks. So, with that being said, I'm going to go and showcase one list, and then we'll dive into another list, and we'll play a bunch of games today. Our first list here is going to utilize 10 2K counters, right? So 4 Flampe, 4 Bedge, or Capone, and then 2 Frankie. You can mix and match between Flampe and Frankie if you want to. You can go down 2 Flampe and then go up 2 Frankie. This is just a personal thing. I like to use a Flampe in the early game just to, draw 2 cards. That's just a me preference. Each their own. You might notice something here that we only are running 2 Shirahoshi. I like 2. Typically, I'll run 2 to 3 at most, and she does get the job done. Depending on the matchup, like going into a Shanks, give or take, she doesn't get a whole lot of value, and that's because most good Shanks players will just trash this card with the Beckman most of the time. Sometimes they'll just force the block, but a lot of times they'll just trash it with Beckman, therefore I can't really get the the counter off, or sorry, the ability off, which is great, so I don't heal. But every other matchup, going into Blue Doflamingo or going into like Boa, that card, when it comes to the Shirahoshi, is irrelevant in this matchup, like both of these matchups, just because they have a card such as Law. And I'm pretty sure you guys know what this card is nowadays. Law is very, very strong into the late game, allows you to bounce something, so therefore they're putting Shirahoshi back into my hand. So she doesn't gain a lot of value. There's another way of doing this too, by playing with Jozu. Does the exact same thing. So these are just cards in which you come to realize that Shirahoshi doesn't have a lot of value in the blue matchup due to the bounce effects. Every other deck out there is pretty good, right? To be fair. Now, the whole point of this deck and playing a Starve and or Control variation of Enel is you're utilizing Kuzan and your Katakuri to heal your opponent. That way your Gidetsu can pop a lot more characters on board. Into the Doflamingo matchups, your Gidetsus, your Kuzans are going to be vital in your opening mulligan hand. That way you can pop a lot of characters on board in the early game. This guy removes the Peronas. This guy also removes your Marshall D Teaches in the early game. Therefore, cards like Law cannot bounce back a Perona to Dofi's hand, therefore he can recast it and set up his cards again. But at the end of the day, this also pitches cards out of Doflamingo's hand as well, which hurts the deck when it comes to synergy. Now, having options of playing down Gidetsu and then Gidetsu in the late game to pop 2 bodies is pretty strong, right? To be fair. Because often you're not attacking into Doflamingo until you have a board state of like, your big bodies, your 10 cost Ace, your 8 cost Katakuri, 9 cost Yamato, you're not normally attacking into face. You're clearing board as much as you possibly can. Your Gedetsus, your Kuzans, and your Namis really help out with that when it comes to board control. Now, you may also notice we are running 2 Onamis. This card really doesn't serve a purpose, to be fair. The only idea that I have with this card is just having something else pop off life and kill something in this matchup. The banish effect, it's okay, right? So sometimes I'll play down Onami just to give my Enel banish and swing for 5, knowing that my opponent is going to guard it, right? That way they don't lose the life. But it's to get cards out of your opponent's hand more so than just trying to banish a card off life. Because once you take a card off life, your Gedetsus lose value, depending on the matchup. Not necessarily in the Doflamingo matchup, because you're killing everything that's 4 cost anyway with a Gedetsu. But it's something just to keep in mind, right? Now you also may notice we have 47 out of 51 cards. So there's 4 other cards here that we typically run when it comes to Enel, and a lot of lists will vary. I've been playing around with Lucy, not necessarily saying this card is very, very good, because often not, I don't get a lot of value with this outside of the blue matchup. Lucy allows you to attack, then rest a 4 cost character on your opponent's side of the board, which is really good. On top of that, you take the top and or bottom life of your life, add it to your hand, so you draw 1, and then you take a card off the top of your deck and add it to your top of your life. So it's a cycle, essentially, but draws you +1 every single turn, which is really good. The downside, it doesn't have counter, and often not you're pitching this for a 0 cost event depending on the matchup. You also can't throw it away with the Nami effect, but Lucy does do a little bit of stuff depending on what matchup you're playing this into. The other cards that we are going to be playing around with today are going to be Amaru. I very much favor this card. I don't see this in a lot of Enel decks. I'm not sure why. I personally think Amaru is pretty good, especially when you have the opportunity of getting a 0 cost event on your last life, proccing the 0 cost, doing your Enel effect, going back up to 2, and then perhaps one of those extra lives you've gotten is now an Amaru or another 0 cost, allowing you to heal again. This also comes in handy when you need to rest a blocker. So the situations where if you're playing against a black deck or your opponent has, what's that card? Rux on board, right? I think that's how you say it. When your opponent has, Rux on board, you don't necessarily want to pop this with Nami or Gedetsu. If you're going for game, Gedetsu's not going to give you that value anyway because your opponent's at 0 or 1 life, right? And you want to get rid of this. Doing something like the Onami down for 5 Dawn is not as valuable as you could when you just pop the Amaru to rest it and then go for game that way. I always find out the Amaru does serve a purpose in this list. You can cut it if you want to, but there's not a whole lot of stuff you can add to the deck without hurting the deck in a sense. Now, we're going to show you guys one more list and we're going to dive into a bunch of games today. This is my favorite list that I've been playing around with thus far. Let me cook, alright? Because you're going to see cards here that we don't typically see in an Enel list, such as Thunderbird. Every other card here is going to be the exact same as the previous list, except for we go down 1 Kuzan just to go ahead and maximize the amount of Thunderbirds we can utilize. Like I mentioned, I try to heal my opponent as much as possible between the Katakuri and the Kuzans. Therefore, in the Doflamingo matchup, this is killing anything I want to on board. If I heal them 1 time, I'm killing Jozu, right? Therefore, at the cost of 2 Dawn, I'm popping anything I want on board. Which is really, really good. And I don't see a lot of Enels playing this. Again, if your locals is full of Blue Doflamingo players, this might be a card you can look into using. Of course, it's pretty strong in matchups like Shanks as well, because you often heal them with Katakuri. You know what I mean? You're throwing Beckman into life, therefore they have a lot more health, and you can pop other characters on board, whether that's blockers or the aces, which would be the 6 cost ace that are kind of difficult to get rid of. So you can go ahead and pop a Thunderbird, minus this by 2000 power, then run into it. There's multiple ways this card can get value in today's metagame. Very strong into a Jewelry Bonnie matchup, allowing you to clear Basil Hawkins if you don't have anything on board for it to rest, which is pretty strong. Either way, we're going to dive into a bunch of games today. See you guys in a split second. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Coming at you guys with Enel playing into Foxy. Yes, don't skip over this matchup. All right, I decided to keep it just because this guy plays a lot of Foxy. I've run into him before. He's actually very, very good. which is kind of interesting because this is a leader in which you don't actually get to see all too much. But we'll see what we can do here. Our hand isn't the best, being that we got 2 Frankies and 2 Amarus off that. So we did gain 2 Rygos, so we have access of popping the 7-cost Foxy with no problem here. But we do have to remove this guy as soon as possible. It's just the cheaper characters that Foxy plays on board just enables him to use his leader skill. So we are not going to be attacking Foxy at all until we have a solid board set up in order to do so. This should be a pretty good matchup, especially when it comes to him not having a lot of removal. Use this kid. Okay, so we have the Nami to deal with that. As much as I don't want to remove it, Kid gives him so much value here, so something that we have to get rid of. We'll pass turn over. We have the Amaru if we need to rest Chopper to kill that or what have you. We should be pretty good. We have double Rygos for the 7-cost Foxy and the Luffy, Kaido, any sort of that. Again, Porsche here is pretty good. Already has 4 cards in hand, which is nice. There goes 5, which should be played on field here. Unless I opt not to do it. I imagine they decide to attack us here or just pass turn. If they want to put us on 1 life, I'm totally okay with that. I would say no, but okay. We're going 7 lead here. That's no problem. We get another Gedetsu. Love to see it. And we have a Katakuri here. I can either play down the Gedetsu, pop the Kid, or we can play down Katakuri and bounce something. That way we get a big body, right? We'll have to remove the Porsche at the very least if we're going to pop something with Gedetsu or Katakuri. We'll get rid of Kid instead, because we have ways of dealing with this if need be. We have the Amaru being on 1 life here, so I can go ahead and rest Porsche and attack into it for 10k with Enel. And I think it's better for us just to attack with leader instead of attacking with Gedetsu and Nami, in case he has shenanigans for next turn. Doesn't matter if he gives us Porsche here or Chopper, we're just trying to limit the amount of Foxy Pirates is on board. Nice. Okay, we'll pass it over. So far, so good. I say that and he has 5 life, but this is the name of Control Enel. I'm going to do my bestest. We have seen some Gedetsus. We got Nami removal. I don't often like to do double Flampe in the early game, but considering this matchup is kind of slow, especially for him, I don't have a lot to worry about. Sure. Freeze me. That's fine. We'll take the hit as well. We get an ace here, which is really good for us. There's a lot of things we can discard. Katakuri's not bad, but throwing away 2k counter doesn't hurt us here either. Okay. Yep. Now I guess we can just remove Foxy here. So we'll play Kata. We'll get rid of Flampe, put Foxy in bottom of life face up, and we'll pass it back over. I'm not ready to attack just yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. I wanted to wait in case he has another big body. Oh, another Foxy. That'll do. 8 lead, no problem. Not sure why you're pushing here, but okay. You're just letting me cycle. I'll take it. Oh. So we'll pop the 0-cost event first. This will allow us to heal an extra life, and then we'll actually do our leader ability next. Get rid of Rygo. Now we healed twice this turn. Yep, get your Dawn back. Then I guess we just remove Foxy for free. Otherwise, that minus 1,000 kind of stacks up very, very quickly. So, sorry, Nami. It be what it be. Bottom of life face up. No pass to turn over. He's got 4 in hand. We have a nice board going on here. We have ace as well. So we should be pretty good for the following turn here. I mean, he is at 7 life, so it might be a bit of a game here. We'll see. There's a Ragnarok. Was not expecting that. So he's going to pop Katakuri. That's fine. We have Ace, in case he decides to attack us again for some reason. Why? I mean, I'll take it, but it still seems silly. He doesn't have any Foxy Pirates here either, which is really good. We got another Ace off that, which is huge. There's a Gedetsu. We'll play Gedetsu down and pop the Mr. 2. I'm not in a hurry to drop Ace. I think we're fine here. 3 cards in hand. He didn't have another Foxy Pirate, so I'm assuming he didn't draw one there. We'll pass it over here. I don't want to start attacking just yet. If I can get an Ace on board or another big body and have it stick, then we'll go for it. We were going to attack here, but considering he decided to kill my Katakuri, I'd rather wait until I have one more big body before we start going all in. 3 Gedetsu is a blocker up. I think we're chilling, you know? He's going to need some pretty spooky stuff to hang on. Definitely because this deck doesn't have a lot of draw mechanics to it, so starving him is pretty solid here. We'll go ahead and pop the blocker Chopper. Or not Chopper blocker, the other guy. So we'll pop the Chopper blocker. We'll heal up. He's got 7 Don left. You're going to need something here on board. Sanji, okay. That's fine. I'll rush Shirahoshi, go 7 to face. And we can take that hit no problem because we have Ace to come down the following turn. And then we can start pressuring. Yep, sure. Ooh, not bad. Double Onami off trigger. The only 2 we have too, that's crazy. Alright boys, here we go. We'll do the thing first. Just the poke. Nice. And I think we'll get rid of a Gedetsu instead of the Shirahoshi for the 10 cost Ace. Just so we have a blocker on board. Yeah, I know I messed up. I should have attacked with Enel first. My bad. At least we gave him quite a bit of cards here. Yep. Go ahead and heal up and go 10k to face as well. And then next turn we should be able to take the game, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to need like Chopper, Porsche, and another Foxy to be able to freeze anything on board. Alright, sure. That's totally okay. I don't know why he didn't keep that in hand just to have the 2k counter, but we'll take that. He did see his top end as well, so it's not like he's behind on that note. It's just we had the board control. And now it's just big body after big body. It's going to be very, very hard for Foxy to keep up. 9 Dawn open. Okay. Sure. And then 1 more Foxy Pirate. There he is. Nice. So leader ability can go off here. He'll probably freeze Ace, if I had to guess. Pickles is pretty good. We're going to take him out first. Okay. That is 3 Namis back to back to back. I know he's about to be sad. We'll get rid of the 2k Frankie in this situation. Or Raigo, I guess, but I guess 2k is probably better. Yep. And I guess we'll get rid of Raigo for Enel's ability. No choice. Veggie. I guess let's keep pushing here. I don't think we had to go 6 into 4, but it's a body off board. So I think we can stall out 1 more turn if we absolutely need to. let's just push here. He's going to get the 7 drops on board anyway. Interesting. Okay, we'll drop another ace. I'm going to go 10k. Alright then. So we have the Rygo, the pop, the 7 cost Foxy in case he decides to drop this on board. There's nothing else he's really going to be able to do here besides freeze another ace and then call it a day. No events up. Love to see it. -3 here. Yep. Sure. Double freeze. I mean, I guess we can block here. And good game, buddy. We don't really have to do anything else at this point. Let's go ahead and pop Foxy, just because we can. Or, not Foxy, but Chopper. My bad. And this should guarantee us game. We need to put one more Don on Gedetsu, just to be able to swing 8, and then have one Don open for Katakuri as well. We know he's going to draw into no counter here, off trigger, or off life. So hoping this one hits. Nice. Good game, buddy. Well played. Now hear me out. Before we dive into this match, right? You know we're coming at this and we're going to stall Uta. Or starve Uta. We're not going to attack into life until we have a decent board to be able to do so. The downside to this is the fact that Uta, no matter what, as long as she attaches a Dawn, she has the ability to draw a card, right? So no matter what, she's going to get cards in hand. Which, me starving her does help in a sense where she's not getting extra cards, but she's always still going to have the option of gaining a card. The upside to this matchup is we have Kuzan, we have Gedetsu, we can deal with the 3-cost Uta and the 3-cost Nami, which allows our Yamato to hit bigger targets relatively easier. And the only thing we have to pay attention to with this matchup is Zoro, Shanks, Eustace Kid if she's running it, and then the 7-drop Luffy. I don't think I'm missing anything, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Oh, I guess Shanks. I don't know if I said that. But we have the Katakuris in hand. We're able to get Rygos, I would assume. Maybe. To be able to deal with Kid. So I'm really just situated on being able to remove the blockers. That way we can actually push face when we want to. We got rid of Nami already. That's a backlight added to hands. We get another Yamato. Our hand is pretty good for the late game. We just have to get there. We'll pop this, we'll heal up, we'll pass it over. 6-drop Uta's on board. Sure. They got a Bart. Not a 2K counter, but the other one. Not bad. We get a Shirahoshi off that. Another Luffy. I'll do the exact same thing here. We'll drop another Yamato, pop the Luffy, heal again, and then I will pass turn. I don't want to poke just yet. We're getting there though. We're getting very, very close. Quite a bit of cards in hand here as well. And I don't have the board state to push for game right now. Of course, they can take free damage, but they already have a lot of cards in hand. There goes their first I'm Invincible that we know of. So I'm Invincible, a Bart, and then they have a backlight in hand that we know of. Double Sanji here. As much as I want to attack, I feel like stalling one more turn is the best play. Because then she'll just run Sanji into my Nami and Kuzan. Which actually wouldn't be a bad thing. Let's go for it. Cool, she gives us cards anyway. I'll swing with Nami here. Okay, that's pretty good. We'll stop. I don't want to go for leader just in case she decides to take this hit. And I think it'd be a mistake if we were able to do this. Yeah, we'll pass. We got 2 cards out of hands, and we know 3 of them still. So there's 4 cards in hand that we don't know. And at least there's one of them. Not bad. Oh, she actually got rid of the Bart, so never mind. That's no longer in hand unless she has another one here. 7 lead. There's another Bart. Cool. I can take a couple of these hits because we have so many zero-cost events. It's not wrong to throw away a Katakuri here, to be fair. Sure. Yep. So 7k. 2 Don opens, so she cannot restand again after this turn. We get a Kuzan. Go 7. Oh, did not expect that one. I guess we have to, right? We have to throw away another zero-cost event or big body here. I think it's better to throw away the zero-cost event just to have Yamato on board for the Uta swing. Yep. Yeah, so we'll do 0 and 0. And then maybe the Gedetsu. So that pushes to 9. And then we keep the Shirahoshi. Okay, so 5 in hand. And we only know of Bart. Let's try to clear board if we're able to. Cool. There's the 2k. Another 2k counter. Yeah, we'll take those. We'll get down Ace. Because we can just kill the Sanji here anyway. Yamato, Sanji wouldn't have mattered. Or sorry, Yamato or Ace wouldn't have mattered in that scenario. I think Yamato is probably the better call though, honestly. But it's okay. Ooh. Yeah. We'll put this on leader. Just in case she has another, what do you call it? Wow, I forgot what the card's called. I'm invincible, just in case. There's a Nami. Okay. New Genesis. Sanji. Okay. I think we're fine still. So we'll keep poking. She's going to have to take some hits here eventually. We've come this far and got pretty much the whole hand, so I think we're okay to keep attacking. The moment she draws another I'm invincible, it'd be what it'd be. I think we have to heal here as well. Because if we don't, we probably can lose game. We have no counter in hand here. I could potentially just Gedetsu and then Shirahoshi down. But we still heal up no matter what. 6k Uta might be the better target here. I don't really care so much for the Nami. Yes, she's able to get another card. But she has to attach 2 Don to the Nami. You know what I mean? Whereas 1 Don to the Uta. Okay. This is where she plays Hody Jones and just wins the game. Sure. So they have a Brook 2k counter. Another 2k from Chopper. Seven. Alright, so I think this is the big matchup in which everybody wants to see, realistically. Especially if your local scene is flooded with Doflamingo players. Dofi is going to be the leader to beat. No, we're not going to be sitting here smashing games in against Teach. It's just, I'll try to dodge the matchup if I'm able to. There's no point of actually just playing into Teach as Enel, especially with a deck like this. He just turns off your leader skill. Very, very tough matchup overall for Enel, right, to be fair. So we're going to play against the deck that's doing very, very well tournament-wise, locally, which is everywhere, is Doflamingo. And see what we can do here. Because I do think Enel has a very, very good time into this matchup. He has a very good time into a lot of stuff in today's format. Just a lot of people really hate this leader, but it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I like to play this matchup into Dofi. And we do this one way and one way only. We starve. Completely shut him out. Do not attack lead unless you absolutely have to. And even still, you're always clearing board. Sure. Nice. It's pretty good. We can actually kill the standing boa here. But we don't have any triggers in hand, so that does suck. Lucked out. I mean, we got Kadetsu off that, so we should be fine. Let's go ahead and pop this, and then we'll just double attack with Enel and Nami into it. This will get more cards out of hand here. Sure. He gave us a Searcher off that. You'd love to see it. And a Jozu. Wow. Okay. And all we have to do is clear board, survive, and just play big body after big body, and we're cooking. I mean, you got it. Another boa comes down. He's going to swing for 9 here into Nami. Not much I can do about it. Sure. He's got a scary board over there. Full field. Outside of the buggy. I don't really think it matters. I think we're fine. We need to pop this as quickly as we possibly can. 2k counter. We'll do it again. He's going to 2 cards in hand this early in the game. Is crazy. We'll do the Katakuri. We'll bounce. I guess we can put Boa there. It has no counter power, so it's probably the better bet. And we are going to take a couple hits here. That is a Kaido. Wow. That's kind of crazy, to be fair. What do we do here? I mean, technically, we could play down Kuzan and Nami. That'll remove the buggy, and then the Nami can pop anything else on board for us here. We just have to get rid of a 2k counter to do so. Which isn't bad, because it gives us the impression or the idea that we can kill Kaido the following turn. With Yamato. So Gravity Blade goes bye-bye. We can trash this, and then we'll pop the Boa. So now we are out of range of Pudding, which is good. There's a Searcher. Don't find another Jinbei, please. I mean, Law is pretty good, too. So you can bounce Kuzan in the hand if he chooses to. Yep. I mean, we've got a little bit of counter back from that, which is okay. Another Searcher. Yep. I think that's the last Boa, which is nice. Or there might be one more. That might be the third one. So we cannot use leader skill here, which is nice. So we can guard out some of these and then take the Kaido swing. Oh, never mind. This poor guy. See ya. We'll pass it over. How mad. I think he should have probably swung there and just counted life. He just assumed we already had a Yamato in hand. That's probably what I would have done. But that might have been the wrong play, right? To be fair. Because we're just going to crack back on his board anyway. We'll pop this. Three bodies left. There's a Teach. That is a problematic card for this deck. It's very, very strong. There's a Flampe. Yep. So he still has the option of putting something on top of life from Teach's ability and putting it on board. What happened? Okay. Go 7. It's probably better to guard here. I know we can just bounce back next turn and gain an extra life, but this way we can have 2 instead. Onami is kind of huge. We'll go 5 here first. Surprised he didn't counter. She'll counter that one. Crazy. I'm not sure why he did that, like honestly. Because I wasn't going to attack him anyway. It just seems silly just to give me free counter, but we'll take those. There's a law, bounces back Perona, yep. We are going to have to start punching face here soon. And by soon, I mean very, very soon. Probably next turn. Okay, we'll attack into him again. Please give me more cards. Thank you. Thank you so much. Alright, so Law's dead. Nice. And then we just heal one, right? Or do we play down a blocker here? Never mind, we don't need the blocker. Because he's going to swing with that anyhow and draw 2, then trash cards. So we can just get down an Onami, give us a banish swing. This might have been irrelevant. We probably shouldn't have done this, but we'll see. There's a Jozu. We'll get down a blocker, and we'll call it a day. In hindsight, I don't think we should have done that. I think we should have just slapped down the A's, because we know he had the law in hand. Because now he filters. He was going to filter anyway, but still. Yep. There goes the law and Perona. So much for sending those back to hand. That was crazy. I'm not sure why he decided to trash both, but we'll take those. Wow. Okay. 8-5. That's what I thought. Alright guys, let the poking begin. Next turn, he's going to play like 1 red rock. That'd be nice. Although I think it's way too late in the game for him to consider red rock or utilize it. We have 4 big bodies on board plus leader swing. We should be able to push a lot of damage next turn, regardless of what he puts on board. There's the Jozu, that does nothing for you. You got it. That does suck though, that we don't have Katakuri anymore, but we should be okay. Ooh. I think this was a misplay. I should have thought about this and just decided to do the Amaru and attach 1 Don to go 9. I think we only just need 3 hits to land and just stack everything on leader at that point. Interesting. We'll poke again. I will pass it over. Now no matter what happens here, if he decides to drop blockers down, we have the Raigo to pop it, and we have the Amaru to also rest it. Implying he does damage to me. But if he doesn't, we have the Amaru. Or sorry, the Raigo to get rid of it and go for game. Good job. That was pretty good. He actually read the room there. You got it. Katakuri. 5 in hand. It'd be super risky if we went for it. I do not want to heal him again with Katakuri. As much as we could, it's probably not the correct play. I could go 7 to face and get cards out of hand. And then go from there. probably should kill Jozu, honestly, but I guess we'll get rid of it for now. We'll play down this, we'll bounce this to life. I didn't want to heal him up, but I think we had to. Otherwise, he's just going to be able to crack back into the ace. We're at 5 cards left. Jinbei and Weevil. 10 into 10. Sure. Alright, there's another Raigo. 4 in hand. I think we'd have to go 9 and then use other things here on Katakuri if we're going to attack with him at all. I could just pass turn, realistically, but he's going to waste an attack on Katakuri anyway. And as long as we bait him into attacking us and we know we're safe, we have the Amaro for the Boa blocker or whatever our blocker he decides to drop on board here. Boa, Doflamingo. We should be fine. Perona. So he left those on top. There's Gecko Moria hits the board. 8k here. Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to do? There's the Boa blocker. If he does attack, we won't be able to kill him with 9k leader swing with Raigo. It just won't happen. But I mean, if he keeps attacking us, we'll definitely take those. Sure. And good game. Double Amaru. Let's go, boys. Bet he hasn't seen anything like this before. Let's go for it. That is big damage. 17k. Let's go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep them coming. Rapid fire. After this game here, we'll probably swap the deck over to the other variation of Enel, and we'll probably play maybe 2 or 3 games, roughly, and then we'll dive back into the deck list. Now, before we get into that, we are playing into Purple Luffy, which is a challenging deck for Enel due to the fact of how fast this leader can ramp and get the big bodies on board. I think both Purple Luffy and Black Purple Luffy are pretty good. Definitely into this leader. Just because they can ramp up so much faster than we can, they have access to the bigger bodies, right? Before we gain ours. And then on the other side, Luffy rips life, so our Gedetsus don't have as much value here as I would like them to. Against the purple-black Luffy, it's a little bit easier to manipulate because he doesn't rip life here. But this one does, so I have to be a little bit mindful of how we play this match. I still do the same thing and I starve them. I force them to rip life if they actually want the extra card and to ramp up. And I'm okay with that for the most part because I can kind of control board up until we get to that point where he starts dropping multiple Kaidos back to back or what have you. So Katakuri. We do have blockers in Shirahoshi here in the early game, which is really, really good for us. We don't really have anything else to do here. We'll just put down 1 for now. He's at 5 Dawn. So perhaps Eustace Kid. There's a lot of things he really could do here. Eustace Kid, Zoro. Rips life. So again, our Gedetsu loses value here. Sanguro hits the board. Goes 6 lead. Okay, sure. We'll give him the 2k counter. I want to be a little bit healthy here before we get to the turn with Katakuri. And we also have access to Lucy here. Lucy allows us to draw 1 card each and every turn when he swings, and then we heal 1. We draw it off life, then we take a card off the deck to heal life, which is really good. His board state's about to get scary. Yep, here we go. What do we do here? Because we only have 1 attacker on board, plus leader swing. He's got quite a bit of cards in hand, left 1 Dawn up. And it's probably safe to say he's got multiple 2Ks. thankfully he can't use Sanji's ability to draw more cards. And it's probably better for us to guard here. But we'll take the hit. We get a Flampe off that. Definitely wasn't worth it. There's a Kuzan. Can't do anything with Kuzan right now besides put Law back into life. Which isn't necessarily valuable right now. So you can just, again, rip life. If we play Katakuri, we put Luffy Taro into the bottom of life face up. And that might be our only play here. If we go 7, we just rest Zoro for no reason. Because I cannot, how do you say, like, when this card actually selects a target, then you're able to rest something else. So, I couldn't rest Zoro and then swing into Zoro. That would be nice, but we have to do it about it differently. Sure. That does kind of suck, so we ripped off Inamaru from life. But it's okay. We'll go ahead and put this on bottom. And maybe next turn we can clear board. We have no more Dawn here to poke the Zoro and the Sangoro, so... Can we get there still? Being on 1 life, Luffy on 5. 9 here. I mean, this man is just gonna run me over soon enough if we don't see our big bodies. I'm looking for Yamato. I think Yamato can really turn this around and pop one of the bodies on board. Then we can run Katakuri into the other one in hopes that he doesn't have enough counter in events to protect it. We have to give this man so many cards in hand here. Let's just take the hit. Nice, we get a Capone. We'll put this on Luffy, and then we'll heal up. We'll drop Ace down to set us back up to 2 life, and then hopefully we can clear some cards on board. What else do you play here for 5? Sure. It's not bad, it's actually pretty good. Because now I can't drop the Amaru and Ace on this turn. I could Amaru Katakuri to remove something on board and potentially kill something else. That might be a good play. Because I think even Ace 10k swing is not going to be guaranteed. With all the cards he has in hand with 1 Dawn open. We did get Yamato though, which is pretty nice. We'll pop this, we'll heal up. I kind of want to Flampe here, honestly. I think that'd be the wrong thing to do. I probably should have swung with Lucy first, just to rest though, Nami. It's a little late now. Raigo, we'll pop this. Alright, pop it, rest this. He's very much guarding for Zoro here. I don't want to go 8 into Nami. It's something we can get off the board, but I think clearing Zoro is priority. Yep. It'll force him to play cards, right? Sure, but now he has 5 cards left in hand. Oh, I forgot he gets to draw 2. Never mind. Back to 7. Okay, so now he's at 10 Dawn. He got rid of a Big Mom, which is nice. That either tells me that was his only one, or he has more in hand. 6k goes to leader, sure. Another Veggie. We'll pop this on lead. I'm so sorry. Yellow doing yellow things. My bad. My bad. Relax. Oh, you know he's mad. So I think we Veggied him twice, like 2 turns in a row. We'll take those boys all day. Wow. I feel like this is being a very, very greedy. Knowing that we have access to Raigo and its potential that we have one in hand, which we do. He decides to drop this anyway. Go back to 0 Dawn. And then next turn we can probably get a lot of cards out of hand with our board state. So I believe it's going to be a win-win-win. Sure. He's probably going to clear Katakuri here. 12 lead. Interesting. I'm thinking he's probably trying to pressure us to put us on 0 life. I just think clearing the bodies on board should have been priority here. Okay. Yeah, he's definitely going to clear something on board. Or put me the 0 here. That's a lot of cards in hand, too. Blocker Kid. Not bad. Go 5. Now we just ignore the kid and go face. Some pretty huge swings here. Yeah, we can go 9 with Lucy, 9 with Enel. I think that's math, right? Nah, we can go 7. This is fine. Watch this be a 0 cost event. Let's do it. Amaru. Goodness. I mean, pretty much is, right? Now we get cooked because of that. Guarantee. We'll go 9 here. Okay. I don't really care too much about the Luffy Taro. I'm cool with just attacking 9k and seeing what happens. Like, I think that's fine, too. So we do have a Shirahoshi blocker in hand and a little bit of counter. So we should be alright. 2k. 2k. Not bad. What do you do now? Oh, he's just trying to go for game now. It is a 0 cost event. So we go from Amaru to a 0 cost event, which also heals us twice. I think we got this 2 games in a row now, which is crazy. I veggie him twice, and we get the 0 cost in life. That is wild. Not that the 0 cost mattered in this situation, but hey, we did it. And good game, buddy. It doesn't matter if we banish the Luffy off life here, so we can just start attacking. He's got 2 Dawn open, so he does have the 9k event probably. And speaking of which, he plays it first. Why did he get rid of those instead of the Dawn under Kid? Because hypothetically speaking, he had another Gum Gum. But okay. And if he played it correctly, he had one more opportunity of using Gum Gum and drawing 2 more cards. I don't think it matters, though, with the amount of attacks that we can do this turn. Good game, Luffy. Well played. That hand, though. Oof. Big oof. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably do this one here and then one more game afterwards, and we'll dive back into the deck list here. I do hope you guys are enjoying this one, especially when it comes to Enel. This is not something we typically do here on the channel, let alone one of those leaders that a lot of people tend to not enjoy or per se hate. I very much am having fun with this leader, whether it's on Sim and at locals. This will be something that I will be playing in the near future, especially when we're going out here to the big regional in Texas. As long as we get in, you know, I'm also in the waiting list for that, but we should be able to get in that, no problem. Either way, I'm trying to get as many reps in with this leader as I can in the current metagame. There are some matchups that I do have problems into, or can have problems into, and that's more so like my personal problem, because I'll make a mistake, and I need to figure out how to capitalize on that. But there are certain leaders like Shanks. For some reason, we didn't run into Shanks at all today. I do see Shanks a lot at my local scene,
And it's very difficult for me personally to deal with Shanks if we don't have top in. And that's really what it comes down to in that matchup, is who sees more top in with Enel into Shanks, especially if we are playing the starve method. I'm not sure why Bonnie is just going 9k into me, but you know what? It'd be what it'd be. I don't really want to go face. You know, I don't want to take that trap. So instead we can just get down Gedetsu here and just kill the baby 5. And we could just pass turn or play down Shirahoshi. We could have just made the opportunity of just going face heavily. And I don't want to give him cards right now. 5 into this, sure. Hody Jones so early. That would be a lot of counter. Okay, so we get the Maru. We can play down Katakuri. We'll put Hody Jones the bottom of life face up. Just so we keep them at 5, and we still have opportunities of popping things with Yamato and more Gedetsus later. What are you going to do here? So I think Bonnie without seeing Cavendish. Never mind. Okay, never mind. We're chilling. We're chilling. Wow. Alright. That's a pretty good board here. But I don't think it matters, because we are on 1 life. So we can go ahead and pop this. We can play down Thunderbird, pop the carrot, and then we can Omaru and rest the Rosinante and run into that as well. Crazy. No Dawn open as well. I'll attack with leader here. There we go. We'll pass it over. The Thunderbird in matchups like this, against these green decks, or against like things like Blue Doflamingo, is just so huge. You're typically guaranteed to pop something on board no matter what. We'll go ahead and just delete this real quick. No thank you. We'll pass it back over. If you have another one, please go ahead and play it down. I'd very much appreciate it. Nope. Okay. Carrot, carrot. We get Thunderbird. Pop this, heal 1. And we'll pass it over again. So far, so good. We have 2 big bodies on board. We have aces and another Katakuri left in hand. We can clear something else on the following turn with Katakuri into Thunderbirding whatever he decides to put on board here. Nice. Well, this works out perfectly. Because I actually can save the Thunderbird now. And just use Katakuri to put that on bottom of life. And then we just have 4 big bodies on board. This is probably the better thing to do here. Save Thunderbird for like a Cavendish. Or a, what's that guy called? Basil Hawkins. Of course we have to attack first and then we'll pop it with Thunderbird, but still. We've got 7 left to go. Sure. 7 lead. What could they do here? Hody Jones? 8 Dawn open. I think that's fine. Ooh, imagine. We'll toss one of these. There's the Hody Jones. Surprise. We could just heal with Ace here. If only. Okay. Let's start poking. 1 Dawn open. I think we have to heal here no matter what. If we don't heal, it's a possibility of us losing the game the following turn. So I'll start running into this real quick. Yep. Sure. It's about to be really, really risky. Oh, okay. Alright. Go 5. We can start poking here. And we'll go 6. At least counter one of these. It also doesn't make any sense though. Yeah, they give us a 0 cost event. That's weird. We'll just go 10. There's no reason to hold this back. Because if they drop the Doflamingo here, where we know they have it, because remember they drew into it earlier, they just freeze 3 cards. Cool. We Raigo you and go face, face, face. Yep. Sure. You're about to be pretty upset. Good game. I guess they really didn't have another choice there, did they? They just Hody Jones or Doflamingo, I suppose, in this situation. Ooh, this hand is actually pretty good. But we have 2 0 costs in hand in the early game. This is probably not the best hand to keep. Although the Gedetsu is going to be very, very valuable here in this matchup. I think we're not the mulligan. I feel like we were being a little bit greedy there. But I think our hand needed just to be a little bit better. We got ourselves a Flampe here into another Flampe. I don't typically do something like this, but in this matchup, he gets a lot of characters on board early. I don't like to use Flampe here. But being able to draw into a Nami or Kuzan or Gedetsu is something that ideally we need to see. And now we have 2 different ways of removing 2 characters on board. 6 lead, we'll take that hit, no problem. Okay. Thanks, Veggie. We'll go ahead and Gedetsu. We'll pop this. We'll pass it over. And as usual, in the Dofi matchup, we are looking to starve Dofi as much as possible, get bodies on board to clear board when he decides to swing into us, and then go from there. I'm looking to get this guy down to at least 2-3 cards in hand, sometimes less, before we start wailing on him, but mainly we're focusing on board here. This is very, very important. Yep. 7. It doesn't matter what he does here. We're going to take the hit anyway. Mihawk hits the board. Oof. What are we doing? Ooh, nice. I guess we can pop the blocker here, right? And then we can run everything into Mihawk. And we get a Thunderbird. Let's go, boys. If he guards out, he's in a whole lot of trouble. Because we can clear the whole board here. Oh, please give me cards. Thank you. That is a teach. Wow. We'll go 7 into 5. There's no chance you guard this. Okay. Alright. Dofi is in some serious trouble. Thank you. And we'll Thunderbird the Jinbei. Then we'll pass it over. 3 cards in hand. We need some big bodies on board before we start swinging. Because he is going to be the clap back. You know what I mean? He should be able to remove Gedetsu here. Perona comes down. Especially if he hits a Law here, or like a Jinbei into a Law. You can bounce back to Perona and then perhaps keep the Flampe on board. They left those on top. Okay. Oh, he's going heavy. Yep, so there's a Gedetsu. He does get a Law. As much as I want to keep this on board, I think the correct thing to do is to let the Gedetsu go. We have the 0 cost event, but it's still way too much counter that we have to discard to keep him alive. And I don't think it's worth it. Especially when he cleared his own side of the board there from the Law. So we'll let it go. Okay. Gedetsu, or not Gedetsu, but Flampe. We could potentially do it the other way with the Yamato, but we don't kill anything. This way we can play down the Flampe and take the Flampe and draw another card. So then we got a Flampe and a Gedetsu out of that, which is pretty good. We know he has Law in hand. He's not going to bounce back to Flampe with Law. That would seem a little silly. Okay, maybe he will. Maybe I spoke too soon. Surely he doesn't do that. Unfortunately, though, he can't really press me here and attack. Because we're at 1 life. If we decided to stay at 2 life, then he could have, and he could have done it safely. Now, in this scenario, I mean, we're not going to die, but perhaps we get another trigger and pop something on board. I think in this situation, I'll probably just pass turn. Because he still can, he does have Jinbei in hand. So he could do Martial D Teach, gain the 2 rested, use the last Dawn for leader ability, play Jinbei down, and pop something else from Jinbei and then something else from hand on board. Okay, cool. I'm glad he didn't, right? As much as I wouldn't have minded, it's just better for him not to, because we already are on 1 life as Enel. We need to get rid of this card as soon as possible. And we do have the Kadetsu and Onami in hand, or sorry, and Nami in hand to do so. We could Yamato it and get it that way, but this way we can activate 2 different abilities and pop 2 characters on board with the Kadetsu Nami combination. Doesn't really matter what we toss out here. It's either a 2k counter or a 0 cost event. We remove this, we'll pass turn over. And then next turn we have the option to drop the ace and then start smacking. Because his hand is going to be Jinbei, and whatever the other cards are, we don't know just yet. What do you want to do? Jozu. Okay, thanks for the 2k. I'll take that. Low interested. I think I would have done the... Oh, he does know the top 5, doesn't he? So, I guess kicking back the Perona is not really going to help him out here. And he already has Jinbei, so... There's the Mihawk. That's fine. We'll go ahead and heal. Ooh, that's beautiful. 5 life. We can Yamato, kill the Jozu. Then we'll start beating down the Mihawk here. Nice. We'll pass it over. I did say I was going to attack face this time, but we'll chill, we'll chill. It's fine. We can poke a little bit. We'll go 7 here as well. And good game. This doesn't... I guess it does matter if they have the boa blocker here. We don't have the removal for it. With a Thunderbird, because you know they're at 2 life. So if they decide to do something like Jinbei into the boa. Okay. At least he can try to clear board, right? 6 Dawn open. There's that. Sure. We go 7 of the 5. Sure, that's fine. We'll go ahead and counter out here with a 0 cost event. We don't need the bird anymore. Okay, we draw another one. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. We'll go 5 face. Get as many cards out of hand as we possibly can here. Because next turn he has to make a choice whether to clear board or go face. If he survives. Uh-oh. If this lands, we might be able to have game here. Because I can risk it with the ace and go 10k. Let's do it. Well, then we don't heal, right? So we have to go 10. See what happens. I think we're fine either way. Nice. He had exactly 10k worth counter. That was pretty good. I mean, he just got 3 attacks here. We have a 0 cost event, so we also gained that as well. We had plenty of counter to get out of the next turn in case he had counter for this one. Good game, buddy. Well played. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the end of today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was a lot of fun for me to put together and play with, especially when it comes to Enel. This is a leader in which we don't get to typically play a lot on the channel. So, especially when it comes to Texas regionals and stuff coming up, some of the big events and stuff coming up this next month. This is a leader in which I've been playing a lot at the local scene, and I'm probably going to stick with this for a while, just because Enel is something that I don't see a lot anymore. Not a lot of people are on it, and he does have some pretty good matchups in today's format. Again, my local scene has a lot of Blue Doflamingo players, a lot of Bonnie players, a lot of blue in general, and I think Enel does very solid into these matchups. And we also are running into things like Shanks and still Rob Lucci here and there, but some of these matchups Enel can just run over if he sees the right pieces, which isn't really hard in this deck. So you're drawing a lot and your opponent's attacking you. You have many ways of outmaneuvering or maneuvering into a lot of these decks in the format. There are some decks that struggle, right? Like Rob Lucci can be pretty challenging, and then of course Marshall D. Teach. But thankfully, nobody's playing this guy, which that's okay with me. Happy to see it. In EBO2, this deck becomes a little bit easier for us to deal with. OP10, it does become harder for us to deal with, right? For a lot of decks out there as well, because they gain access to the Kuzan. But for us specifically, going into EBO2, we gain access to the big boy, which is Enel. Teach has very good abilities to stop on plays. This 10 cost Enel essentially is an ace, but much, much better. As long as you are at 1 life, when you attack, you can trash 1 card from your hand, and if you are at 1 life or less, you heal 1 card from the top of your deck to your life, right? Then you gain 1,000 power. So this is a 12k swing. It's already 2,000 power more than ace, and you can do this every single turn when this card attacks. It doesn't have to hit, it doesn't have to land the attack, it's just when attacking, which is really, really strong into those matchups. But this card will come very, very soon. Then Enel is going to be one of the top dogs in the meta for a very long time. Until then, though, the only deck that I can safely say, and I think a lot of us can probably guarantee it, that we struggle with is going to be into Blackbeard when you occasionally run into him, and a very solid Lucci player. And then, of course, you have the Black-Yellow Luffy. This is still another tough matchup for you. But overall, we're going to go ahead and show you guys the other 2 deck lists that we played. This was the previous Enel deck on the channel. A very aggro, aggressive Enel with the 7-drop onto I Am God or I Am Kami. Very, very fun to play. And then, of course, we have our 2 control builds that we played around with today. These are going to be the ones that I'm playing the most currently, and I'm having the most fun with. Each their own. This one here does not utilize the Thunderbird, but it does utilize Lucy, and it utilizes 2 Amarus. These are just personal preferences, of course. The Lucy is very, very solid into the Blue Doflamingo matchup, allowing you to just arrest characters and attack into them with your leader or whoever else you have on board, allowing you to cycle and draw 1 each and every time you swing, which is really good. The other deck here is utilizing Thunderbird. Now, again, this is a card in which I very much stand by, especially if your metagame is nothing but Shanks, Blue Doflamingo, and Jewelry Bonnie. This card allows you to remove a lot of characters on board. Definitely, if you are able to play down a Katakuri or a Kuzan, it does have its uses. Now, there is a couple things I do want to mention here real quick. I have been putting out content when it comes to local scene, in which a lot of people enjoy, a lot of people don't enjoy, especially when it comes to newer players. I know that watching someone play this game like live is very, very difficult to understand what's going on, especially when you are so used to hearing me talk as I play the game, right? So when I'm sitting here playing locally, it's a lot harder for me to do that, especially with how loud our local scene is. So what I think I'm going to try doing in one of these upcoming videos, I took Enel out and we played around against some Blue Doflamingo players and stuff. And I think what I'll do is I'll mute all sounds and just play background music, and I'll talk as I'm playing the game, like almost like live, but not like live. You know what I mean? And that way it at least gives you guys and newer players a little bit more of a grasp what's going on and how I want to tackle certain situations, you know? I'll try it and see how it goes, because I want to continue to appease to both audiences without getting people turned off to that kind of play, because I myself don't like watching people locally or live in videos. I don't find that entertaining, but some people do. So I'm going to try to incorporate that style here into my videos as well, if that makes sense. But either way, this has been Pawseplays. Remember guys, smash the like button, make sure you guys subscribe for future content when it comes to all things One Piece here on the channel. Stay safe out there. I will catch you guys in the next video and or at locals. I'll see y'all later.